The practice side was open in July of 2022, so we've been officially open for a year here. Before that, we were strictly mobile, so we had a mobile practice. It was Dr. Joe's Mobile Vet Service, and we basically started that right when COVID hit. So that one was running for about 2 years before we opened this practice.
The building itself is 16,000 square feet. When designing it, we really focused on being the fact that I've worked in so many different clinics growing up. When I was working for the zoos, I always had to have a part-time job for bills. And so we worked at specialty centers, and then also Doc has a human medical background. So kind of trying to find the merging of the two, so where we can actually have a place that we would like and actually enjoy working. A majority of it is actually daycare and lodging. We do have 8 exam rooms, but we'll see from anything from a small pocket animal all the way up to a horse or a pig or a goat.
I started in a practice in Morris, very, very tiny practice, and that's where I met Michaela.
We dated all while he was in vet school and then got married when he was out of vet school.
So we started in a F-250 pickup truck, which was my first big purchase after school, of course, because after student loans, why not add another loan of a truck? But we needed something for farm calls. So I originally had a smaller truck that just couldn't hold all of our gear. So we ended up getting a bigger truck, and we wrapped it with the Dr. Joe's logo, which was probably the best advertising thing we ever did, because it was this bright green truck that you couldn't miss. And I think I had inquired about starting an account with Patterson, and I inquired about a bunch of different accounts, and Kendra's the only person that called me.
They had worked at a clinic that used us in the past, and as soon as I see a new account come up, I get on the phone and I call them. And that's one of the things that they, one of the reasons they're very loyal to me. They say in the beginning when they were starting out, nobody paid attention to them.
And she was ecstatic. She loved the idea of being mobile practice. And so we started with Kendra, and we bought, I think our first month with her, we bought an x-ray, which was $100,000 that we did over 2 years of payments, which has thankfully been paid off now. And then we upgraded to cold laser therapy, and then we just kind of kept building from there. So every time that she had something new and exciting that other places weren't offering, she would say, "Hey, are you interested in this?"
But I love that. My passion is getting people started and getting new practices going and equipment and training, and it's my passion to get a business up and running and help them do that.
But then after COVID, when everything started coming back into play, we ended up thinking, like, how can we do this on more of a larger scale, and because we can't be in 10 places at once. So it took us an hour to get to each house, and then 14 shifts a day, or 14 house calls a day. It's just, there was no time in the day. So we thought about opening a smaller practice, but it just finding a practice that in an area that just wasn't being occupied or that really needed it, it just kind of came to fruition that this parcel was going to be a doggy daycare, actually. So this whole thing was going to be a doggy hotel before COVID hit. And then COVID hit, and the funding kind of went under. So we ended up getting a shell of a building and building it out to be a hospital. So it turned out just things happen for a reason, and that's kind of how it came to be. And thankfully, like, we continue to be successful with that, which is good. And keeping mobile is important to me. And we kind of just built this random area up in the middle of cornfields.
He had high aspirations and a great vision, and we started out looking at leaseholds that were 5,000 square feet, and they decided that they wanted to kind of grow their business behind the scenes a little bit right away, and so as we started planning, they started a mobile service, and they worked a few years mobily and really built up a great following. And I think it's just their passion and vision and continual persistence, and the idea of bringing better care and his level of knowledge and skill set really differentiated himself in the area.
The first month we were open, we were relatively busy, and then the next month we blew up.
I'm very grateful, and I think everyone here will say that too, is that we're grateful that the community has accepted us. And it's, we are definitely in a unique zone. We're right on the corner of Kendall, Grundy, and Will County.
They had a really good design plan in their heads and kind of worked out, but we kind of helped a little bit with workflow on that, and we got started.
So once we opened here, we purchased the vessel sealer because we started seeing a lot of mass removals and splenectomy cases and tumors that were growing off weird parts of your body and stuff like that. And then we bought the plasma link sterilizer for our orthopedic cases. In case anything ever dropped or anything, we could sterilize something in 7 minutes. And then from there, we went to PRP and stem cell therapy, which has been, super beneficial for our regenerative therapy when not everyone's going to do an arthroscopy, not everyone's going to do surgery, but we can manage clinical symptoms of osteoarthritis and pain with PRP and stem cell. And then we got the hydrotherapy treadmill, which is going to help with our rehab of ortho surgeries as well as slowing down progressive degenerative joint disease. And then we got this guy.
Typically a clinic after 9 months of opening, don't go out and add CT and a treadmill and laparoscopic surgery to their practice. That just shows the success and again is that persistent effort that they had to make their business grow and the adoption to the community that they built it and they did come.
The CT I was nervous because Kendra's like, you're going to be the only one in the area with this type of CT. It's the slice rate is incredibly high, but the definition, you're never going to beat it. And I was nervous because how big the purchase was going to be, and it's expensive and not many people want to do a CT. So our goal was, it's expensive. Other specialty hospitals are charging $10,000 to $12,000 for a CT. Let's try to keep it down to less than $1,000 to $2,000 so that people, the average Joe, can afford it. So you're not paying all your money for your answer and then you have nothing to do with your answer. But it's been really good for us to able to have the technology to just do things that no one is able to do out here and provide that to the area. I think it's been good for us.
My biggest thing was I don't like the divide of a lot of hospital cultures over receptionists versus technicians. So everyone here is either a CVT, gone through tech school, or going to tech school. Everyone here can do everything from, check you in. Half of them are trained in surgery, so surgery to check you out situation. So, but everyone else is getting trained, whether they're in school. Working in so many different practices, you pick up things that really work and things that don't.
My biggest advice would probably be get something that you're going to believe in and actually use. Don't just try to match every other practice, because if you buy a cold laser machine and it sits and collects dust, it's not worth anything to you. It's not helping the patient, it's not helping you, and you're out that amount of money that you spent for it.